This is Phil M with Mech 140. In today's project 5, we're going to be using a DC motor and also a 9-volt battery to power that motor. For objective 1, we're using the pulse width modulation function, or PWM for short. This function simulates an analog output when using a digital output. This allows you control over the speed of a motor or the brightness of an LED. And the way this works is it only outputs 5 volts for a percentage of a pulse. For example, if it's set to 50% of a pulse, it simulates only 2.5 volts being put out over that time. And this can also be controlled by using things like potentiometers or other input sensors. The oscilloscope in these screenshots show the programming at 25%, 50%, and 75% of a pulse and what it would look like. For the next objective, we're using a MOSFET transistor and a diode to control the speed of a motor using a potentiometer. In this objective, we're using analog read and write. The analog read comes from the potentiometer, and the analog write outputs that number to the MOSFET transistor, which in turn closes the connection between the 9-volt battery and the motor. The last objective is much like the previous one. The only difference here now is we've added a push button. In order for this to work, the push button must be pressed and the potentiometer value must be over 500, or 50%, for the motor to work.